This is using the product sum method of factoring with trinomials. So before we would group, when we had a polynomial that had 4 terms, we would group 2 terms together and then the other 2 terms together in order to solve the problem. But in this case we can't do that because we only have 3 terms. So with the trinomial we have to consider, A is going to equal the first coefficient, which in this case is 1, because we have an invisible 1 right there. B is going to equal -5, and then C is going to equal -24. Alright, so I have to multiply A times C. So 1 times -24 equals -24. I need to find all the factors for -24. So let's do that. We can have 1 times -24. We can have -1 times 24. We can have 2 times -12. -2 times +12. 3 times -8. -3 times +8. 4 times 6. And -4 times 6. Now I have to figure out which one adds to B. So add to -5. Well, the 2 numbers need to add to -5. I know that 24 and 1, that's not going to work in any way. Neither is 12 and 2, because that's going to give me 10 or 14 or something like that, so that's ridiculous. That's not going to work. Neither are 4 and 6. So I know I'm working with either 3 plus -8 or -3 plus 8. If I do them both on my calculator, maybe I don't need to, maybe you already know, we're working with this one. A -3, or a -8 plus 3 is going to give me -5. So I'm going to take this and bring it down, x squared. I'm going to take this and bring it down, -24. And then I'm going to split 5 up. Okay, I need it to equal -5, add to -5, and I'm going to use these terms right here. I have a +3, so plus 3x minus 8x. So that's where my 3 and my -8 come from. Okay, given that, now I can go ahead and solve this by breaking these up and finding out what they have in common. So x squared plus 3x, what does that have in common? Just x, unfortunately. X plus 3. Now if I multiplied that out and distributed that x, I would get this term right there. So that's where that comes from. Bring down my minus sign. What do 8x and 24 have in common? Well, they have 8 in common. So these 2 terms right here should be the same. These 2 binomials should be the same right there. So from that comes my answer. X plus 3, and then this part, x and -8 times x minus 8. And that is my answer right there. Let's try another. 6x squared plus 14x plus 4. So in this case, I need to define what my terms are. So A equals 6, B equals 14, and C equals 4. A times C is 4 times 6, and that equals 24. I need to figure out what factors for 24, when you add them, they add to 14. So as I'm thinking about that, what adds to 14? Well, 24 and 1 isn't going to. 8 and 3 we just did, and that was 5, or somewhere around there. So let's try 12 and 2. We're looking for a positive 14. 2 times 12 equals 24. 2 plus 12 equals 14. Okay, so we have our factors right there. We go ahead and we come up here. This and this stay the same. 6x squared and plus 4. Our 14 needs to get split up into 12 and 2 plus 12x plus 2x. Now I can divide them into two groups and pull out what's similar. 6x squared and 12x, they have 6x in common. X plus 2. Again, this term right here is equivalent to this. We always have to make sure that they're the same. 2x and 4 have 2 in common. X plus 2. Your check is right here. These two should be the same, which they are, so that's perfect. I'm going to take 6x plus 2, put it in my first parentheses, and x plus 2 in my second parentheses. This is my answer right here, and if I were to multiply it out, I would end up with this right up here.